Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nabila Putri Febiani. I would like to do my presentation about the effect of financial performance on company value in pharmaceutical subsector companies and companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange.
The higher the share price, the higher of the value of the company, and the higher the prosperity of shareholders. So this study aims to determine the company's financial performance and how the influence of financial performance and the value of the pharmaceutical subsector company.
Indonesia is one of the developing countries, and in the sense that Indonesia economic growth must continue to be improved through the development and economic pillars, which is believed to be one of the driving factors capable of making people's live more prosperous in a fair and equitable manner. The success of a company be seen from the effectiveness of the company in competing and maintaining its financial performance and achieving the expected targets according to Rudianto 2013 p. 189. Financial performance is the result of achievement that has been achieved by the company's management in carrying out its function of managing company assets effectively for a certain period. Financial performance information is needed by companies to find out and evaluate the level of success of the company based on the financial activities that have been carried out. To the analysis with use criteria finance, the company is considered to provide an overview of the company's performance and is the fairest method to determine that the performance of a company. The ratio is conversion the amount between one amount the another with the aim of saying a comparison in the section finance. The pharmaceutical has very good prospects in the future and is one of the industries that is able to develop today. One of the things that cannot be avoided in the emergence of sharp competition between pharmaceutical companies funding is one of the important factors to face competition. Source of funding can come from source of funds obtained from outside the company or creditors and can come from the internal source. Okay, based on the talk about, the main problem in this research is whether liquidity has a significant effect on firm value. Does leverage have a significant effect on firm value? And whether profitability has a significant effect on firm value. So, destination from study that is following performance finance company and how the influence of financial performance on the value of companies in the pharmaceutical subsector. Okay, for method, the types of research, the approach is a quantitative descriptive approach because it provides a description of the research result. The subject of this research is the finance department, aims to access to performance of companies in the pharmaceutical subsector. In this assessment, the data containing the company's financial statement are analyzed and conclusions are drawn regarding the company's performance. With the first, data source research. The data source is a very important part. The data source is the subject from which the data was obtained. A. Data secondary. Data secondary, this is study examines secondary data obtained from the company's annual report, the company's official website, and other source. Secondary data use includes financial and non-financial information that has been published in general. The company annual report is obtained from the Indonesia Stock Exchange website. Next, study reference. This research is carried out in order to obtain data in finished form or theory by studying, reviewing, and researching various kinds of literature such as book, lecture, and training notes, this and other data that can be used as reference that are relevant to the research being concluded. 2. Population and sample. Population and sample. Population. The population is the sum of the whole of the units or individuals whose characteristics are to be studied. And this unit is units analyzed and called in the form of people, institution, object. The population in this study is the entire annual financial report of the subsector pharmacy. Okay, for example, the sample is also called part of the population whose characteristics are to be studied. Jarwanto. A good sample whose consolation can be enforced on the population is a representative sample or one that can be described a population characteristic. The sample in this study is a company that has met the criteria that have been determined in purposive sampling. The companies with purposive sampling criteria in the study are 1. Companies belonging to the subsector pharmacy. 2. Publish report finance annual in exchange effect during 3 period AI in year 2018 until 2020. 3. The published financial statements are stated in the form of thousand. Okay. Third, there is variable 3D. Dividend variable Y is the dividend variable are often referred to as the dividend variable. The dividend variable or bound is the variable that is affected or which becomes consequence because existence variable free Sugiono 2020. The dividend variable in this study is the follower of company. Independent variable X is an independent variable or in Indonesia often called fairly is a variable that affects or is the cause of the change or the emergence of the dividend variable. Or bound, the independent variable in this study is a financial performance which consists of liquidity, leverage, and profitability. Okay, now I want to research and discussion in the picture and the beside picture there is table and name liquidity of manufacturing subsector company 2018 until 2020. The table, based on the table above, it results in an interpretation that the cash ratio shows the ability of the most liquid current asset to be able to cover the flow. The more big ratio, so the more good. Standard from number quick ratio 100% or 1 and 1, whereas ratio cash which owned by pharmaceutical subsector companies in 27, 8%, 28%, and 28% respectively, so that the company's financial performance can be said to be unhealthy because it's far from the number standard. Theory liquidity has a close relationship with firm value, where the more dull the liquidity, so score company will is getting higher. On the contrary, when liquidity is low, the value of the company will also be low. Cash that is higher than the company's short-term liabilities will be able to meet the company's obligations, so that it will have a positive impact on the company. Based on the analysis result, the liquidity value is far below the standard value. They show that the liquidity is not the main factor considered by the company's external parties in evaluating a company. The result of this study do not support a theory which suggests that information about a company's cash flows is useful for users of the reports. It purposes as a basis for assessing the company's ability to generate cash and cash equivalents and assessing the company needs to use cash flows. Okay, this is the table taken. The name, the average of manufacturing subsector company 2018 until 2020. Based on the table above, it results in an interpretation that the total to equity ratio shows the relationship between the amount of the debt and capital. The amount of debt shall not exceed its own capital so that this company burden is not too high. To the amount of leverage owned by a company belonging to the pharmaceutical subsector is a very healthy condition, where the standard of the debt ratio is 100%, while from 2018 to 2020, the debt ratio. The company tends to decline, and in 2020 has reached the standard number of debt. In the theory, leverage and free value have a negative relationship. How? It shows that the more low the leverage to score the company, the more high. When on the other hand, the higher the leverage, the lower of the firm value. Based on result analysis, core leverage years 2020 is at the firm rate on the standard value. Meaning that the fluctuation in the level of debt owned by a company will not have a significant effect on the value of the company, because in Indonesia capital market, stock price movements and the creation of company value added are caused by market psychological factors. The size of the obligation owned by a company is not to notice for investor, because investors are more concerned with how the company management use the funds effectively and efficiently to achieve added value for value company. For the third table, the name manufacturing subsector company profitability 2018 until 2020. Based on the result of the table above, in result in interpretation that based on the calculation of the road of the pharmaceutical subsector companies in 2020, 2019, and 2018 are okay. The last part is conclusion. Conclusion first is liquidity is far below the standard value. This shows the liquidity is not the main factor considered by party external companies is in assessing a company. And the second, leverage in the 20 is right as its standard value, meaning that the fluctuation in the level of debt owned by a company will not have a significant effect on the value of the company. So, because in the Indonesian capital market, the movement of stock price and the creation of a company value added are caused by psychological factors market. And the last third, profitability is far below the standards of leverage, meaning that with low profitability, the company cannot add value to the value added the company. Okay, thank you for the best attention, and as I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.